do. Okay, another place where this book began, one of the sort of seeds of this book, is I was listening to a town hall. You remember Town Hall Summer 2009? Mm-hmm. And I was listening to one of these town hall meetings on a satellite, or not satellite, what do they call it? Yeah, satellite radio. I was way out in the middle of nowhere in Washington State. And I was listening to a town hall meeting of this audience getting angrier and angrier at their, senator, who was a Democrat, who was there to talk to them about the Democrats' health care plan, universal health care. Okay, now this is a party that is proposing, a grand sort of expansion of social insurance in the middle of economic catastrophe. It should not be a hard sell. It should not be a difficult sell to make, This should be something that goes down pretty easily. And instead they're faced with this, massive uprising, people showing up at these meetings and screaming and yelling and saying, what about freedom? What about liberty? They always want to have this debate on the most basic terms. Now I'm listening to this guy on the radio talking to his constituents, and that's what they're saying. One after another, people are getting up and yelling, what about our freedom? And he doesn't have an answer. He can't explain why we need to have, how social insurance enhances freedom, how equality actually expands. This is like what Franklin Roosevelt was all about, the four freedoms, remember? Freedom from want. They cannot, today's Democrats cannot talk about that. Another example, they're doing the stimulus. What? Do I have a theory why? Yes, I'll get to it in a second. The stimulus package. Okay, when this turned out to be extremely controversial, I don't think Barack Obama thought it was going to be controversial when he proposed it. Remember, he wanted to get 80 votes in the Senate. He wanted a majority of the Republicans to back it too. Of course, that didn't come to pass, and the Democrats had to pass it all by themselves. And when they went to explain it, they said, well, we're doing this because the economists tell us we need to do it. Okay? It's just not a very convincing way, to always fall back on expertise, which is what they do when they're talking about the health care, when they're talking about the deficit spending. Everything that they do, they're like, we're doing this because the experts tell us we have to do it this way. And they do that. They talk that way because that's who the Democrats are. They are, nowadays, they are largely a party of, and they understand themselves this way, of professionals and of professional classes and of expertise in academia. And that's why when Santorum calls Obama a snob yesterday for proposing universal college, he's completely full of shit. Am I allowed to say that? He's not just completely full of it. There is something there, okay? Because this is what the Democrats are about nowadays, is about this constantly appealing to expertise. They cannot give you the ideological or political reasons why we need to do these things. They can only tell you that the experts say we need to do them. And that's just not very convincing. And so when you have your average voter sitting in the audience at this town hall meeting, and he wants to know about his freedom, and the guy dodges the question and bobs and weaves and won't give him a straightforward answer. And in fact, no Democrat will come out there and tell him why, this actually grows our freedom, expands our freedom. No one will make that argument. What's he supposed to think? When it's always just disappear. And oh God, and the bailouts were the worst of all. We're doing this because we're experts. We know, and it's obvious to everyone in America that these are cronies bailing out cronies. These are friends bailing out their buddies. And they're talking about expertise. Never has this system been more, patently hollow. But they cannot give you an explanation for it that's anything more. But the Republicans, oh my God, not the Republicans. There's a lot of Republicans who don't fit my analysis. The conservatives, the Tea Partiers, man, they've got it all figured out for you. And they've got an explanation. And it's about this, living up to our promise, the promise of America, which is markets. America is about markets, and the closer we get to that ideal, the more American we are, and the more true we are to our natures, and the more true we are to God's holy plan. And this is, in an era like this, that is really powerful. And when it goes up against nothing, it's extremely powerful, That's the whole problem here. This is, I know it's time I should shut up. I've spent 10 years now writing books and articles making fun of the right wing in America. And all those years, the right wing has grown more and more and more powerful. And look, it's my career, and I have a blast doing it, and it's a hoot, and I've made a career out of it. But you know what this stuff is more powerful than is nothing. It's more power if you have on the one hand these sort of silly messages that go around in circles like a dog chasing its tail, and have these visions of the free market that are patently false when you talk about everyday reality. All of that stuff, it's better than nothing. And nothing is what they get from the Democrats. And that's it.
For more, read Pitting the Billionaire. It's out there for sale. Thomas will sign it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here's my counter-argument to that. Which I will do it with the microphone off.